evening, everybody. I have been on YouTube or TikTok people up there talking to me tonight. I typically get on TikTok early before I get my live stream going, and I sit and talk to them for a few minutes while I kind of set everything up. And now I'm here on YouTube, live on YouTube, to answer anybody's questions about bugs. Scott Young came in, said finally got rid of the bed bugs after the second dose of Crossfire, which is, for those of you on TikTok that don't know, I specialize in eliminating bed bugs. I've been killing bed bugs for over 20 years, and I've had extremely good success, and I try to tell people how I get rid of bed bugs. And so that's what people know me for on YouTube. That seems like that's what anybody ever talks to me about, is my bed bug ability at killing my ability at killing bed bugs. So anyway, if you're enjoying the stream or whatever, give me a like. Don't forget to follow on TikTok. So Pepperidge Farm says, I discovered last Sunday I still had them in my place, so I did a second dose of Crossfire, hoping that does the trick. They messed me up so much I actually started seeing a psychologist because of it. So one of the things about Crossfire that a lot of people don't know is that so Crossfire for bed bugs, the way that Crossfire works is it is a non-repellent pesticide. So the bed bugs don't see the chemical, they don't know it's there, they don't know that anything's been sprayed. So the problem with that, and with most people, when they hear me talk about Crossfire and they talk about how I love Crossfire, I use it. It's the only thing I use for bed bugs, and they believe that it's like the end-all solution. It's going to get rid of their problem instantly. It's like just an instant pill, like to make your headache go away, like an aspirin or something. It's going to go away in a day. But that's not the way Crossfire works. Crossfire actually works on a long-term basis. So you treat, and long-term meaning like several weeks. So you treat the initial treatment, and then it takes about 2 to 4 weeks to get the bed bugs completely under control. Because what you're doing is you have to wait for the bed bugs to come out. It takes 6 to 10 days for an egg to hatch. So even if you sprayed right now, if there's any eggs like in the wall or places that you can't get the chemical, those eggs have to hatch, and they have to come out, and they have to crawl through the pesticide. So theoretically, logically, it's going to take at least 10 days for those stages to hatch. And also, a bed bug nymph, when it first hatches from an egg, they do not come out and bite you right away. What they do is they come out in about 6 or 10 days after they hatch to get their first blood meal, because they shed their skin like a snake. So that's called an instar phase. So what happens is bed bugs, stink bugs, roaches, lots of bugs have what are called instars. And so as the bug develops in maturity and it gets larger, it needs to get a blood meal. It bites you, it sheds its skin, and then it waits a whole nother week or so before it bites you again, because it needs to shed its skin again. And so logic will tell you it's going to take at least 2 to 3 weeks at least to get all of the stages of bed bugs to come out to bite you. And when they do, they crawl through the chemical. This is why Crossfire lasts for a month, because they expect that the bed bugs will have to crawl out throughout that entire month period to die. And so now anything you spray on contact usually dies within 5 minutes. And so, a lot of people will say, well, I sprayed Crossfire 3 days ago and I still have bugs. Or I sprayed Crossfire 5 days ago, I still have bugs. Or even as I've seen as far out as like 2 weeks, to say, well, I sprayed Crossfire 2 weeks ago and I still have bed bugs. And you really should, because it takes a while to kill all of the bed bug infestation. Unless you just have a mild infestation to the point where you might only have 1 or 2 bugs and you don't have a lot of eggs, it will take you typically a month to get rid of your bed bug problem. So, Scott Young said it will kill them, did 1 dose, waited 2 weeks, and did a second dose. Yes, and some people do that. Some people, even exterminators, will come in and do a dual treatment where they'll treat once and then they'll wait 2 weeks and they do another one. A lot of this stems from Temprid. The best way to use Temprid is to treat every 2 weeks. And so with Crossfire, people still do that. They'll do like an every 2 week treatment. It's not really needed. I've never had to use Crossfire more often than once a month. But that's what I've always done for myself, for my own business. In fact, even back years ago when we were using things like Dursban and stuff like that, it was still just once a month type of treatments to get rid of bugs like that. Bugbear says, I've found if there are some eggs, you will probably need to do a second treatment. Mysteriously Kind says, is it healthy to just eat the bed bugs as a form of elimination? Okay. That's an interesting question. You would have to talk to what do you call those people that tell you how to eat your food?
What was the question?
All right, so is it healthy to just eat the bed bugs as a form of elimination?
Well, from a pest control standpoint, to eliminate a pest, you have to be able to break the...
You have to break the life cycle. And I guess if you eat it, I mean, it can't have babies, can it?
But you have to break the life cycle of the entire population. So, I mean...
So you have to eat them all.
Yeah, you can't get into the wall.
You'd be like Pokemon, except catch them all, you got to eat them all.
Yeah.
But I would not recommend. I'm not a doctor. I can't tell you what's healthy or unhealthy. I don't know if bed bugs are healthy to eat or not. That's not my job. I'm not a nutritionalist. I just kill things for a living. So let's see. Bugbear. Let's see. Yeah, 2 weeks should do the trick. I got a canker sore right there. It hurts. I bit my lip earlier. Let's see. Love Crossfire. Super awesome label. Danielle says, off the bed bug topic, is there a way to deter stink bugs? No. You can't really deter an insect that is coming in for hibernative purposes. So stink bugs, ladybugs, cluster flies, wasps, these types of insects, even if you use a repellent pesticide on the outside of your house, the bug's natural instinct is to come in to get out of the cold, to hibernate in your home. They will crawl through the chemical to get into your home. A lot of times they'll just die in piles. In fact, I've got videos on my YouTube about stink bugs and how to eliminate stink bugs and the chemicals that I use to kill stink bugs. And I've had really good results getting rid of stink bugs as far as killing them, eliminating them. But it's very difficult to stop them from coming inside. I mean, I've done outside treatments. I've killed a lot. In fact, I've gone behind myself before and actually found thousands of them just dead all over the ground, where they've come and they've crawled on the wall and stuff, and they've tried to get in and they've died. But then you still get stink bugs in the house. It doesn't ever stop all of them from getting in. So if that answers your question, it's not the best answer, but it's the best one I got. Pepper Ridge Farm says, sprayed all around the sides of my air mattress, so they have to go through it to get to me. It kills me that I have to use myself as bait. Yeah, but it's really effective when you use. From all the years that I've done pest control, I've used lots of repellents, chemicals that are designed to push the bugs away from you and keep them from getting on you, or keep them from your home, or keep them out of your windows, or keep them out of, wherever you're trying to keep a bug away from. If you use a repellent in that area, the idea is that the bug won't come near it because they don't want to get in it. And that used to be the most effective way to get rid of chemicals. But with the advent of neonicotinoids and like Termidor and other pesticides that are designed to not inhibit the natural behavior of a bug, if you can get that chemical between the bug and whatever it wants to get to. So like with Termidor, you treat the soil so that between the soil and the home, where the wood is in the home, they have to travel through the soil to get to the home. They die. They don't know the chemical's there. They just die. Ants, same thing. Termidor is used to kill like carpenter ants. There's Alpine WSG is also a non-repellent for ants. Diazinon, back when Diazinon was around, that was a non-repellent for ants. And so non-repellency is actually a really good, valid way to get rid of bugs, because you're not changing the natural behavior of the bug at all. They naturally do what they're going to do, and it just works really well that way. So when you're using Crossfire on your mattress, on your box spring, on your couch, your love seat, your lazy boy recliner, places that you're going to be, the bugs are going to naturally want to come out to bite you, and when they do, they die. And it's really effective because the bugs are going to come out. It's like the euphemism I used to use, or the example I used to use all the time with my daughter. So my daughter, she's 8 now, and even at 8 years old, I think it would be kind of hard for her to resist if I took like a piece of her favorite dessert and just sat it on a plate. I used to use chocolate cake as an example, but if you get like a piece of chocolate cake and you sit on a table and you sit a toddler, like I've got a 3-year-old now, and you sit him in front of that chocolate cake at the table and you say, now don't touch that cake. I'm gonna go in the other room. Don't touch that cake, and go be gone for like 5-10 minutes and just see what happens. The child is going to eat the cake because there's nothing between it and the cake. And so you're the chocolate cake, lay in the bed like a delicious piece of chocolate cake and say, come get me, but then between you and the chocolate cake, or the bugs and you, whatever, there's crossfire that they have to cross across and they die. So it's very effective. So I've been spraying crossfire. Let's see. So Sarah Rodriguez says, I've been spraying crossfire for 3 months and I still find them. Now, I will tell you what has happened in my experience with now I've had this happen like maybe a handful of times. Honestly, I don't know how many, maybe 6 or 7 times over the last like 5 or 6 years, where I have had to go behind myself more than 3 times and spray crossfire. Every single time this has happened, it's because of reinfestation. So if you do not know how you got the bed bugs, and you're continuing to do the same thing that you were doing before, like maybe you're bringing them in from school, or maybe you're bringing them in from work. Maybe you've got a friend of yours that's coming to visit and you don't realize they have bed bugs. They may not even realize they have bed bugs, but they are bringing them into the house. You're bringing them in from your car. Have you thought of treating your car, your trunk? The trunk of the car. So one exact instance, the guy actually helped some friends move before he called me, and he had bed bugs in his bed. So he calls me up and he's like, hey, I've got bed bugs. Can you do anything about it? And I said, sure. So I signed him up, went out to his house, sprayed his house. After the very first time I treated his home, he never had bed bugs on his bed at all after that initial treatment. Every time after that, he had bed bugs either on like the coffee table or the kitchen. He had some like in the kitchen floor. And it was really weird because these are places bed bugs should not be, because like I said, they're attracted to you. They want to live where you are. They want to live in your bedroom, on your bed, on your chairs, where you sit, where you sleep. And so we actually ended up tracking it down to the trunk of his car after several months of going to his house. We found out that, he helped some friends move before he met me, and the trunk of the car has had this bed bug problem in it ever since. And so we treated the trunk of the car, bed bugs all died. He never had any more bed bugs in the house. So keep that in mind if you're continuing to have a problem. And this is not just with crossfire. This is with lots of pesticides. If you're continuing to see a bug problem over and over and over and over again, look at what you're doing. Look and see, maybe you're accidentally bringing them in and not knowing it. Maybe you've got a friend that's bringing them in and they just don't know it. Because not everybody reacts from bed bug bites. I've done houses where people have been completely and utterly infested with bed bugs and didn't have a single mark on their body because the bugs were biting them and they just weren't having a histamine reaction. So not everyone reacts the same to a bug bite, and they may not even know they have them. You might just not be getting all the nooks they hide in. See, that's a good example. But even then, even if you don't, so I don't always treat dressers. I don't always treat chest of drawers or nightstands. Most of the time, it's very, very important to treat mattresses, box springs, like I said, sofas, love seats, and even pull-out sofas and stuff. I treat all these areas very, very thoroughly. And even if they're in the dressers and I didn't treat the dresser, the bed bugs crawl out of the dresser to get to the bed. There's no blood meal in the dresser. There's no blood meal in a closet. They're not going to get fed in a closet. They're not going to get fed in a dresser. They're going to get fed in the bed. So eventually they all come out of the dressers and the chest of drawers, and they come and they get on the bed and they get you. Will crossfire work on dust mites? No. And that was a question from TikTok. It is not labeled for dust mites. And I do not do pest control for gophers. Somebody asked about a gopher question. Oh, you're welcome. Galvin, you said thanks for all your advice. Carl says can't find crossfire. Where are you, Carl? Where do you live? Brian said just smuggled crossfire across the border into Canada. Ready to whack them at my friend's apartment Saturday morning. Thank you so much for your guidance. Bugbear says, I have to tell people all the time I can't stop you from seeing dead bugs. Do you own? You must own your own pest control. You talk like a pest control tech. Pepperidge Farm. Let's see. Bugbear. You can really make a problem worse using repellents on most ant species. That's absolutely true. In fact, the funny thing about ants and pest control for ants is that the pesticides that you buy at like Walmart, Home Depot, Lowe's, any over-the-counter pesticide for ants that have ants on the label are typically repellents. They're actually repellents. Essential oils, people will take and put peppermint and cinnamon out for ants because they are a repellent to ants, and just makes them worse. It just makes the ant problem worse. It actually doesn't take care of the problem because the ants see the oil. They see it just like it was a pesticide. They're like, oh, let me go around that. You know, it's like if you were walking from point A to point B, and between those 2 points there was like maybe a pathway of broken glass, and you're not going to walk through the path. You're going to walk around the path to get to point B. So you still get to where you want to get to. You just have to maybe take a detour. And that's what ants do. Ants, if they're crawling and they already know where the food is, because you're not going to spray for ants if you haven't had an ant problem. And so you have an ant problem develop. You're like, oh, the ants are getting in my sugar, or oh, the ants are getting into my bread, or whatever. And so you start treating for them with essential oils or pesticides or whatever, and whatever you bought over the counter. The ants still know where the food is. They still know where their source of sustenance is located. All they have to do is figure out a way around it. And they will. Ants are not stupid. Ants are actually really smart, and they're really inventive, and they adapt to all kinds of things that are thrown in their way. So usually pesticides and essential oils and stuff like that, unless they're non-repellent, don't work. What does a pregnant bed bug look like? Probably have swollen ankles. Probably complains a lot about the temperature and the thermostat being too hot. Let's see. Let's see. Good morning, everyone. Where are you to be morning? It's 9:48 here at night. Found it highly effective to not only treat the furniture, but to also treat surrounding baseboards, corner moldings. Yes, I always do that. I gotta readjust. My foot is falling asleep, and I have to sit Indian style because I've done it my whole life, and it's the only way that I'm ever comfortable. And then my foot falls asleep, and I have to readjust myself. Do you always? Okay, let's see. Always check picture frames. Yes, for bed bugs, they'll live behind picture frames. Cockroaches will live behind picture frames too. Let's see. Let's see. Yeah, I'm a commercial tech too. I do commercial too. I do commercial and residential. I like it all. I've got to do it all. I love pest control. Let's see. Can bed bugs crawl in people's ear or nose? I'm sure they could. Probably not as likely. Cockroaches are much more likely to do it. I had a customer one time whose son was going to be taken from them because they went to school and there was a roach that had laid an egg inside his ear, and the egg hatched during the school day, and he had little teeny tiny baby roaches crawling all inside his ear. And so he was complaining about an earache, went to the nurse's office, they checked him, found the baby roaches, used some saline and flushed his ear out, cleaned it out real good, didn't have to go to the hospital or anything, but they did have to call CPS because that's school policy. If anything like that's ever found, they have to call CPS. And so they called me and they said, hey, we need a cockroach job at our house because the government's going to take our kids. And so I had to do that. But yeah, that was kind of crazy. That was really nuts. Bed bugs like to hide. If they can fit through it, they will go in it. A crack the thickness of a credit card is an open door to bed bugs to enter, exit, or hiding. It's actually even thinner than that. Bed bugs are razor thin. They can fit through spots even thinner than a credit card. I've been dealing with a lot of pharaoh ants lately. Yeah, pharaoh ants. I haven't really run into a lot of pharaoh ants. We typically deal with a lot of odorous house ants and acrobat ants here. Pepperidge Farm says, I had a bedbug bite on my nose for a few months. I was paranoid. There was one living there. Let's see. Is my phone not ringing? Can I not hear my phone? Y'all trying to call me? Doesn't look like it. What's the date? Nobody's trying to call me. Let me see. Calls, chats, voice message. I'm not going to play voice messages. I don't know who it is. I haven't pre-screened them. Okay, so... But I do have to get up early in San Antonio. Keep them coming and have a good night. Good night, Bugbear. Enjoy your night. Sweet dreams. Don't let the bed bugs bite. And watching from Nigeria. Oh, I had a guy call me from Nigeria one time, a long time ago, a couple years ago. Pest control guy out there, actually. It was a really interesting phone call. Let's see. Let's see. Has your videos grown your business? I'm in pest control. I mean, I've had people call me and hire me because of my YouTube. This is a question from TikTok. Someone had asked me if my videos for YouTube and TikTok have grown. I just do it for fun. Honestly, it's so funny. So I was actually talking to a customer today about my YouTube channel. And I'm obsessed with pest control. I love my job. I go to, it's so funny. So I've got, let me see if I've got my keys on me. I might actually have my keys in my pocket that I could show you. No, I don't have them on me. But on my key ring, my keychain for my car, I have a bait station key. For those that do pest control know that you have to have a key to get into your bait stations. Keeps, children and stuff like that from accessing your poison. And so I have several different keys. I've got 3 or 4 different brands of bait station that I use, and each one has a different type of a key. And so I was telling a lady today, I was like, it's funny because when I go to like Kroger or, Walmart or Target or somewhere and I see those bait stations and I have a key that fits it, I have to look in it. I can't not look in it. I'm like, what are they using here? What kind of product? Oh, that stuff's garbage. I hate that stuff. The mice never eat that. And it's because of my obsession with just wanting to know how people control bugs and how other companies control bugs and how other people do what I do. And so I'm just always learning, always trying to learn, how bugs work, how, in fact, from the time I was 17, I've been researching bed bugs. And because that's the very first time I ever did a bed bug job, I didn't really know what I was doing. I didn't know how to kill them. I went to the library because the internet wasn't everywhere. This was over 20 years ago. The internet wasn't everywhere. It was really hard to use the internet. And so I went to the library. It's the only place I could get fast internet. And I researched. I was on billboards, like Prodigy billboards is that's the internet that the school used, or the library. And so I used Prodigy. I used the encyclopedia, like the World Book, the Encyclopedia Britannica, pulled them out, read every article I could from the newspaper for like 2 weeks. And then I decided how I was going to kill my bedbug problem that one of my customers had. And I've been researching them ever since. I'm still researching. I research almost every day about different types of pesticides, different types of procedures, or what this new technique that someone developed to kill bed bugs and roaches or whatever. So I'm obsessed. It's more than a job to me. It's my life. It's what I just really enjoy. Let's see. My phone is trying to ring. My phone is trying to ring. And for some reason, I cannot hear it ring. So let me fix my audio and video. Let me make sure that this is on. See, it's not working. Let me see. Communication device. We want my speakers. Let's see. All right. Now I will hear the phone ring. So if anybody is trying to call the Skype number, you can call now and I'll answer. I'm sorry. It was messed up. Now I can hear it. So anyone that just tried to call back. Let's see. Let's see. Man, where was I? Everybody's here tonight. 25 viewers. Like this, for all the 25 people in here, and 3 in TikTok. Y'all should like and follow me. Subscribe to the channel, or at least like the video if you're sitting here watching me talk about bugs. If you're interested. Do you go out of state? I do not. I do not go out of state. I'm only licensed in the state of Virginia. I only treat in the state of Virginia. Let's see. I am a snake breeder, so I breed my own rats, and they got infested. I treated them and almost got them gone. What are you talking about? Let me see. Oh, bird mites. Snake mites. Are they the mites that live on snakes? Because snake mites are a thing for people that breed snakes. And you'll get in trouble. You go to a snake show and you take snakes that are infested with snake mites. People will know who you are and they won't buy your snakes. Big Bear, good night for real this time. Good night. So Carl Riddle says, where can I find and buy in the Houston, Texas area? So if you're wanting Crossfire, you need to buy it online. You're not going to be able to buy it from a store. You're going to have to buy it over the internet. I've got links in the description for all that stuff. In fact, I could probably find it. Let me show you where. If you go to my Amazon page, which is in the description, but I will go ahead and copy and paste it here so you can have it quick and easy. But this is my Amazon page, and you can scroll down, and all the termites got deleted again. But anyway, you go down to bedbugs. There's bedbug supplies right there. And then there's Crossfire right there. And you go to it, and it's right now it's $48.13 for a bottle of Crossfire. That's how much it costs on Amazon. This price fluctuates like the stock market. Some days it'll be $30. I've actually seen it as low as $28 a bottle, which is half of what it's being charged for now. But right now it's $48.13. I guess supply and demand is what drives the price up and down. I don't know. But that's what it is right now if you're interested trying to find Crossfire. Oops. There it is. Well, thank you, Sarah. Sarah says she enjoys my videos. So my I do have, so if you go here, Nathaniel, and you scroll down on the bed bugs, there's the bed bug book I wrote right there. I recommend this one right here. This is the one that's got it's got roaches, bed bugs, and fleas, and it's completely updated. But if you go here, this is actually my bed bug book here. But this is an older one. I actually recommend this one, which is the book I wrote. It's only $1. It's the cheapest. In fact, if you have Kindle Unlimited, it's free. So I try to be as cheap as possible. That's as cheap as I can get it. For the price, it's the cheapest I can get it on Amazon. So that one there. Judah says, I'm using Advion Arena traps for the roaches. They are working. Oh yeah, Advion's a good chemical for cockroaches. If you're still seeing bed bugs after multiple strays, they're probably being brought in from somewhere else. That's exactly right. I feel like these live streams are more helpful than my psychologist. Hearing from an expert at killing them puts me at ease. And it's not that hard. Everything that I've learned about killing bed bugs, I have learned by myself. I have done this all by myself. The thing is that you've got to realize is that when bed bugs first became a problem, they first became a problem in Virginia when bed bugs, I mean, this was like 23, 24 years ago. When the bed bugs first started to develop in Virginia, I didn't know how to kill them. I had to learn how to kill them. I am doing what all of you are doing tonight. I was going and I was learning and I was researching and I was trying to figure out, how can I do this? How have other people done this? And I have used the examples other people have used in order to develop my ability at getting rid of bed bugs. My whole process was based on what others have done that was successful. So when I sit here and I spill out everything I've got and I tell you this is how I do it, you know, I'm not lying. I'm not making this stuff up. This is how I do it. I tell that all of the stuff that I recommend. Like MGK, okay, the company that makes Crossfire, MGK, they're located out of Minnesota. They do not pay me at all. I do not work for them. I'm not a sales rep for them. I don't go and do these, seminars and stuff and try to sell their products. I mean, I am selling their product, but I'm selling it through Amazon. I'm selling it through Do Your Own Pest Control. I'm selling it through these websites that you could go. And I always recommend go to the cheapest source. But the reason I use Amazon is because when I first started my business, I used Amazon. That's how I got started. You could get overnight delivery. You could have it within a day, day and a half of ordering it. It was fantastic. And it was great. And I was able to get my business started using Amazon. Amazon was a really fantastic. And no matter what you think of Jeff Bezos, no matter what you think of the Amazon brand themselves and how they treat their employees or whatever, the thing is that I was able to start my company off of Amazon. And so I just use their site because it's easy, it's intuitive. I'm able to easily update it for people, and you can find all the products really simple. But you know exactly what they look like. You can go to other websites and you can find them there too. Like I said, Do Your Own Pest Control, Do It Yourself Pest Control, all these websites have the same products, and you can find them on these websites. Oh, there's a phone call. See, it worked that time, so y'all can hear it now, right? Hello, this is Jason with Green Akers Pest Control. Can I help you?
Yes, I'm watching the show. This is my first time. I had a question. Can I leave a question with you for him to answer?
Well, yeah, you're talking to me now.
Oh, I am.
Yeah,
Well,
I answered the phone. You called.
Oh, I'm
And
okay.
you might want to
Well,
mute your sound, though, because it's going to throw you off.
I just don't want to broadcast, my name or my question. I'd like it to be confidential. Can we do that?
Well, right now I'm live, so anything you say now, people are going to hear. You don't have to tell me your name or anything.
Well, I'm watching you live.
Okay.
Okay, well, here goes. Bed bugs on the scalp, in the hair. Is that very common?
Not really.
And then, well, the next question probably is going to be moot then. We're looking for a remedy.
I mean, people will get bit. So people will get bit in the head by bed bugs when they lay on the bed. It happens. Typically, the bed bugs, they can't live on you, like a flea or a lice louse or, scabies or something like that, where they live on your body. But the bed bugs will bite you. So what they'll do is they will live on the headboard of your bed. They'll live around the head part of your, I guess it's considered the head, of like your mattress, your box spring, inside the box spring. And they'll come up and they'll bite you on the head. This happens all the time. It actually is really common, but they won't actually live on your head. They'll just come out and bite you. If that's the only thing exposed, it's the easiest part of your skin to get to, they will bite you.
Well, these are so microscopic unless we're using the magnifying glass.
Well, those are not bed bugs then.
They're not.
No, those can't be. Bed bugs are all visible. Every stage is visible. They are about the size. The egg even is about the size of a third of a grain of rice. You can see every stage.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, we've heard that. But
yes.
Okay, well, so we're looking for something else then.
It might be mites, and it might be like a scabies or something. Like if you've had an animal get in and die. It's happened. I had a customer one time who had a raccoon die up underneath her trailer, and when the raccoon died, there was no longer a live body there. The scabies can come up through the floor, and so they came up through the floor and started attacking her.
Oh,
and it's a possibility that's what it is. That scabies, typically people think, oh, scabies is a sexually transmitted disease. I'm not doing that, but it's not always. They can come in from like wild animals and stuff if they come around or they hang around. Skunks will bring them in if they're living around the house. If you ever go out and smell a skunk, even stray cats can bring stuff like that around your house.
Well, we have had times where, my wife's been able to pick one up through using cellophane tape or something off her arm or whatever.
Right.
And look at it under a microscope, and she identifies it as being a bed bug.
It can't be, though, if it's microscopic. It's not possible. the size of a bed bug. I would have to see a picture of it myself. If she could take a picture of that microscopic and send it to me, I'll take a look at it, because you can take it. If you got a microscope and you can take a picture with a smartphone or something, or, you know, and just send it to me, I would like to see that, because I don't think it's a bed bug.
Wow. Well, that's very enlightening.
But I don't mind. If you send it to me, go through Facebook, send it to me on Facebook. People do it all the time. I don't mind. I like to see pictures of bugs. I'm obsessed. And so I don't mind taking a look. If I can help you in any way, I will.
All right. Well, we'll see. We'll see if we can do that. We just completed a first spray of crossfire. And I don't know if that's going to have any effect on what we're dealing with.
It may or may not. The thing is, if it's mites typically need a miticide. Things like permethrin, cypermethrin, stuff like that will kill mites. But not all pesticides will kill mites. If it's a mite, like a bird mite or a clover mite or something like that, you usually typically need something like Suspend SC or something like that to kill mites. Or permethrin.
Okay.
People used to use permethrin a long time ago, or perethrins. You can get it at, any farm supply store would sell permethrin. Yes. But that's something that is real common. In fact, if they a lot of times they'll prescribe permethrin to you if you have problems with like head lice and stuff like that. They'll prescribe it to you at the doctor and as a cream.
Well, this is it's definitely not lice or. But anyway, we're in a mobile home. And we know that we had some duct work done underneath, and the guy spotted a black snake down there. Now, I don't know if that's a problem that could attract something like that would come up to the floor.
If you have a snake in your house, snakes don't live in your house by themselves. They come looking for food.
No.
So if you've got a food source like mice or rats, they will bring...
This is underneath, but the snake is underneath. It's a mobile home.
Right. Right, and the snake is going to come in to eat other animals. And so the other animals that get into your home can die and bring other types of parasites into your home.
I see.
And the snake is only going to be there because there's something else there for him to eat. Snakes move to wherever the food source is. And so people call me for snake work all the time, and it's always because there's something, whether it's birds or mice or rats or chipmunks or something like that living nearby.
All right. So probably a thorough examination underneath.
Look for droppings. Look for animal droppings and try to figure out what's gotten into your house. But it's probably a parasite coming from under the house.
Okay.
It's real common with mobile homes.
All right. I don't want to tie you up
You're fine.
too much longer.
Thank you for calling.
Well, we really appreciate it. We enjoy your videos have been very informative, and we really appreciate what you're doing.
Thank you. You have a good night.
Okay. Thank you.
Well, that was nice. I like when people call. Okay, so I like all the social medias. Have you been watching me on Sarah? Have you seen any of my TikTok videos? You probably see my crazy stuff I put up here. Let's see. Oh, there's another call. Hello, this is Jason with Green Acres Pest Control. Can I help you?
Hi. How are you tonight?
I'm super. How are you?
Good. Question for you. My mom has bed bugs.
Okay.
The bed has a cover. Is it better to take the cover off and spray inside the mattress and put the cover back on, leave the cover off?
So I recommend removing mattress encasements, treating the mattress, treating the box spring, and don't put them back on. Just leave them off. Get rid of your bed bugs first. Now, the only time that I ever recommend actually using a mattress encasement is if you've bought a brand new mattress and you're going into a home that you know might have bed bugs. You can encase the mattress in the box spring before you bring them in, and that will prohibit them from infesting new mattresses and box springs. But the problem is that you still need to get rid of your infestation. You need to target things like your bed frame, your headboards, footboards, your baseboards, and places that are going to come in contact with the bed, so that the bed bugs have to die before they crawl up on your mattress and box spring. because they can live on the encasements, and also encasements. If you have bed bugs inside your mattress or on your box spring, and you put an encasement on, they will eventually get out from in there. They are not foolproof. They are not 100%. The bed bugs can and will get out of an encasement.
Yeah, I've watched quite a few of your videos, and this is actually the first time I've seen you live. So I figured I'd give you a holler. And
oh yeah, anytime.
Another question for you is, see, this is a side-by-side duplex that she lives in, and the neighbor hasn't reported seeing anything in her side, but my mom's had them for 2 years now.
Okay.
And I have to believe they're getting over there, but the neighbor says no, and she's actually the landlord's daughter. So we would figure you would hear something from the landlord or the daughter by now. But there's diatomaceous earth.
Ooh.
That I put down 2 years ago, or probably about a year ago. Let me correct myself. A year ago, I put it down between the walls and around the beds and stuff. And it's actually called, I don't know if it's actually Cinemac. I'm looking at it right now.
Cimexa?
It's Cimexa?
Cimexa? Cimexa?
Yep.
Yeah. That's like DE. It's basically the same thing. It's still silicate. It's silicate. It's a silicate.
Okay. Should I clean now? I see where you said that it's a repellent on one video. Is that something I should vacuum up and clean up before I put down Crossfire? Because I have the Crossfire here. I'm waiting for her to go on vacation.
You want to try to clean it up the best you can. I actually had a guy ask me this question just the other day, and I do these, that new thing that YouTube does where they put the little short videos, and it's like, kind of like how TikTok is, where you have just the up and down vertical video, real short, like a minute long. I did one of those the other day.
Real things or whatever?
Yeah, I did one at like 5 o'clock in the morning because I got out real early just a few days ago. And I answered that question because it's a real common question I get asked all the time, about DE and stuff. It's really important if you're going to use Crossfire to vacuum up as much of it, clean up as much of it as you can, because the diatomaceous earth will counteract Crossfire. Diatomaceous earth is highly repellent to bed bugs because it's the equivalent of broken glass, and just like you're not going to want to walk across broken glass, neither do they. And so it's going to repel them away from the Crossfire. People will take and put interceptors on the feet of their bed, and they'll put DE in them because they think, well, that'll create a trap that they have to crawl through to get to the bed, but they just won't crawl through it. Bed bugs can live for up to 18 months. Some studies show up to 18 months without a blood meal. The general consensus is at least 10 months. That's a long time. I mean, when you think about not, cleaning up dust for, you're talking 2 years. I mean, that's almost as long. and not only this, but when diatomaceous earth is poured out, or dusted even, it will interlock with itself, and it will create a smooth surface that bedbugs can crawl across. So when you use too much of it, it actually doesn't help at all. It actually doesn't do anything but just waste your money.
Yeah, and see, that might be what part of the problem was too with it, is because I didn't know I was supposed to use an applicator when I first put it down.
Yeah, you shouldn't be able to see it. If you see it, you've put too much.
Okay. So, yeah, that's definitely a problem. So, one other thing, if I was to just throw the three hot spots is her bed, couch, and recliner.
Right.
And I was thinking of just throwing them all out because they're all older, and she'd like to get some new stuff. But is it better just to throw them all out and then spray rear? And then how long before you would bring new furniture in, or should I wait till I have them eradicated completely?
I would probably wait till you have them eradicated completely. I would probably just treat the furniture and kill the problem, and then if you want to still replace the furniture, then I would do that. I've actually given people up to 3. I actually put a guy off towards the beginning of the year. I had a guy that called me that wanted pest control for bed bugs, and I waited until he bought his new bed and brought it in the house before I even did the treatment, because I'm like, look, if you've already thrown away the bed and you're going to bring in a new bed. The problem is the new bed won't be treated. If I go to the house and I treat the house today and the old bed's gone and there's no new bed in there for me to treat, well, I can treat everything else, but then the bed's not treated. And so when he brings that mattress in there or that box spring or whatever and sets it up, that's not treated. So I actually like to get all that stuff done on the first treatment. So I usually say, hey, give it a couple weeks, wait till your bed arrives, then we'll just treat everything all at once. And that way the new bed's treated, everything's treated, and you don't have to worry about paying me to come out another time and treat the bed after you get it set up. Because it's going to need to be done. That's the most effective way to get rid of bed bugs is treat the place you're going to be, like the bed or the mat or the recliner or whatever it is.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for your help, and thank you very much for making your videos, because
hey, no problem.
You've been a huge, huge help. I've seen a lot of other videos, and you mentioned Ertie's one time, where with the heaters, and we've already treated the house with the heaters a year ago, and it put them at bay for about a month, and that was it. So,
right.
Right.
And that's the general consensus. That's what I'm getting. See, the reason I don't recommend heat is because I have to go behind a lot of exterminators who do heat. And if I'm going behind them, it means it doesn't work. And the only reason the customer's calling me is because it doesn't work. And I've just done too many. The thing is I've considered it. I've considered it for my business. I've researched it. I've talked to other customers that have had people come in and use it. And to me, it's not worth the risk. I mean, I'm a very small business owner. It's a big risk for me to take something and use something as a business practice when I know a lot of exterminators are failing at this, and I don't want to give myself that kind of because just one bad word is all you need to ruin small business. So
and what happened is, because I didn't know she had them here, I actually transmitted them over to our home, and we went and we found them, and the wife talked me into getting the heaters. So we did our home, and it did work at our home, but we only spotted like maybe 10 in the whole place over a 2-week period. And it did work there, but when I did my mom's home, like I said, about maybe 2 weeks, it put them at bay, but you still found them here and there, and now they're just back, and it didn't do anything. They must have been in the walls and everything here at her house, so... the heat definitely doesn't work if you got a bad infestation. I can testify to that. So, and we had the heaters here for 2 days at her house. So,
Well, if you do the crossfire,
I just wanted to thank you.
And will work, but do clean up the dust though. It will help a lot better. It'll up your chances of success. You won't have to order anything else.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Good luck. You have a good one.
You too. Bye now.
Okay, I am going to be right back. I got to use the bathroom. And I can't really pause my TikTok, so I'll be back. Okay, so I'm back. Sorry about that. This is one of the good things about staying hydrated is, well, one of the downsides of staying hydrated is you got to pee all the time. So anyway, let's see here. Let's see. Somebody on here says, I'm the best exterminator and so knowledgeable. We have never had any issues. That's on TikTok. Let's see here. Bridge Farm. Someone recently burned down their house to get rid of snakes. There were debates in the comment section over whether or not the fire was effective. Sarah said she has watched my TikTok. Yeah, it's crazy. I do a lot of jokes on TikTok. I've got some practical jokes on TikTok. I've done some weird dance things like they do on TikTok, and I don't know. It's a place where people like me can do weird stuff, and it's like YouTube used to be. I mean, I like YouTube. Don't get me wrong. I'm on YouTube. I'm live right now on YouTube. It's allowing me to have a platform where I can speak to you and help you guys out. But honestly, I think back when the Maya He guy and all the different people from when I first started using YouTube, I thought it was a much better, cooler type of a place, and it was just really neat. Because, and it's kind of like what TikTok has become, and most people my age, I'm going to be 40 in a week, remember what YouTube used to be like, and it was just funny. It was a place you could kind of go and see funny stuff, kind of like America's Funniest Home Videos, and it's just not like that anymore. Everybody gets so offended at every little thing, but TikTok's like, we're going to offend everybody, we don't care, and we're all drunk, and that's how TikTok is, and so it's just funny. But and I can be more myself and do funny videos and stuff that I like to do, and then I send it to my friends and say, look at how crazy I am. But and my wife, typically I just send it to my wife, which she's just got back. She had to go take care of a child, and then she watches them and she laughs, and as long as I make her laugh, I don't care about anybody else. I just want to make my wife laugh. But anyway, so is it advisable to use a heat gun to treat bed bugs? I don't advise it. You'll burn your house down. How did you get... Let's see. The caller said his mom is going on vacation. Yes, you can take bed bugs with you when you go on vacation. You can bring bugs home from vacation. Would you bait or spray for the first treatment of roaches in a kitchen? I always treat with liquid. I always do a clean out service. I typically use a repellent on the first treatment to try to drive as much stuff out as I can. And there we go. We got another call. Let's see what's going on here. Hello, this is Jason with Green Acres Pest Control. Can I help you?
Hey, Jason, how you doing?
I'm doing fine. Talking with you now.
All right. Yeah, it's cool to talk to you, man. I'm an exterminator in Albany, Georgia.
Okay.
And I'm
so
doing
you're gonna get me in
sprinkler
trouble
work
now.
What was that?
I said, you're going to get me in trouble. You're an ex-exterminator.
Yeah, man. No, I'm not going to get you. I was calling to commend you because every now and then my daughter makes me pull you up, and she laughs about how you caught your finger in that mouse trap, and you said, oh, it gets me every time. And
I snapped myself the other day at a customer's house. Went to go reach for something and snapped myself on a mouse trap. I do that all the time. Oh, well, she laughed too. She thought it was funny, but she said, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have laughed, but it's all right to me. They don't hurt. Not bad.
Hey, I'm doing sprinkler work now, and a lot of people doing those heat treatments probably don't realize that at as low as 135 degrees, you can set off sprinkler heads in motel rooms.
Oh, yeah, you can.
And
but it has to be above... See, the thing that a lot of people will say, and this is what I've seen on the websites, is you go and like people will advertise their heat treatment for bed bugs. And they'll say, we guarantee 120 degrees. Well, 120 degrees is not hot enough to kill eggs. 125 degrees is the industry standard to kill eggs. And if it doesn't get above 125 degrees, then you're not going to kill your bed bug eggs, and heat rises. So the hottest place is, like you're saying, up around the sprinkler heads. Oh yeah, you'll set off a sprinkler head, no problem. No problem.
Right. Well, I've never heard it mentioned, and I've missed, a lot over the last several months. So you probably already hit on that, and I missed it.
Oh no, I never talked about that before. That's actually great. I love that.
Good, man. Well, I just my wife was in Walmart getting some Christmas presents, and I said, and I found you. I found you on there live, and there was a phone number, and I said, man, let me call and talk to Jay, because my daughter's gonna.
I did do a video like about a month ago, maybe a month and a half ago. I did a live stream, and I'm part of a lot of Facebook groups, and I've pretty much shied away from Facebook now. I don't really get on there anymore for personal, but because I can't stand them.
Me too.
But I had I was in a group of guys that were doing bedbug treatments. And one guy actually asked the question. He said, how do you keep from causing damage to the homes when you're doing a heat treatment? And he showed pictures of a heat treatment that he had done. And, of course, pictures, once they're on the internet, they're out there. And if it's on Facebook, I'm going to save them. And so I took them and I saved them. And I did a live stream. And I showed this is what happens when you do a heat treatment. He had exploded hairspray cans. He had he had melted one of the big, the big box, the old big box TV before they became flat screens. He had melted one like a candle. I mean, it was horrible at the amount of damage that he had done to this person's house. The hairspray bottle actually shot through 2 walls and lodged in a third one. And he's lucky he wasn't in there. He could have gotten killed by that thing if it went through his body. And so, I've been in pest control for a really long time, and I don't, for the life of me, understand how people can pay for somebody to come in and turn their house into an easy bake oven. It's dangerous. It's crazy insane. And the guys get mad at me. They come on here and they yell at me in my comment section, and they get in the live streams and they talk about how I'm just stupid and I don't know any better. And I'm like, look, this is insanity. This is crazy. They're just bugs. They're just bugs. And it's like, we don't need to go to that extreme to kill a bug. It's just a bug.
Right. Well, you know what? I went to your channel a bunch of times because I was only in pest control for 3 years, and I really enjoyed it. Other than it wasn't quite ideal for me in my situation, making 26% commission, and my wife, trying to take care of my family in this part of the great United States. But I did go to your channel a lot, and I learned a lot from you, and it sped me up and becoming an expert in my short 3 years. And so, I can tell by seeing your videos that you put out great content, so it really did help me.
Well, what's your daughter's name?
Raylan.
Well, you tell Raylan I said hi then.
I sure will, and she's gonna love that. And but I won't hold you up, brother. I just was calling because I really just saw the number on the screen and was watching the channel, and I said, man, let me call him and just mention that about the sprinkler heads, and just tell you, man, it's cool to talk to you.
Hey, no problem. You have a good day then, or night, or whatever. I guess it's nighttime down there in Georgia.
It's nighttime, brother.
You have a good one. Bye.
All right, you too. Good talking with you.
You too. So a Raylan, a girl, I guess she's exterminator. So, hi Raylan. Let's see, Raymond. Let's see, would you bait? Okay, I already answered that question. Oh yeah, so let me get back to that though. Raymond asked if I would bait or spray on a first treatment. So it really just depends on how bad the roaches are, on if I'm going to bait or spray, or maybe both. So the thing is you can bait places that you can't spray, and you can't spray everywhere, but you can bait places you can't spray, or vice versa. So if a cockroach infestation is not what I would deem as severe, meaning that the cockroaches are just so bad they're going to eat all the poison and they're not going to be enough to go around, then I will bait and spray. But if it's a heavy infestation, I typically go in with a flushing agent. I use repellents. I try to chase out every single cockroach that I possibly can and kill as many as I possibly can on the very first trip. And then when I go out on the second trip, I usually will follow up with something like Alpine WSG and a bait. That's usually how I get rid of cockroaches. Usually it only takes 2 or 3 trips and the cockroaches are all dead. So it's not that big of a deal. But if they're not that heavily infested, then I open up with Alpine WSG and a bait like Advion or Vendetta, something like that is typically what I use when I go. And sometimes a flushing agent. You know, if you're in there and you think roaches might be in a wall, like maybe behind a kitchen sink or something, I might treat inside the wall with a flushing agent to try to chase out stuff and force them into the pesticide that I just sprayed. So, you know, that's one way to get rid of roaches. The main thing about cockroaches is to be thorough. You know, be very thorough. My dad used to teach me when I was a kid. I was 12, 13 years old, and he used to say, you know, as long as you can kill roaches, you'll always have a job in pest control. This is our mantra back when I was young. And one of the ways to do that is, you know, if you think a roach is going to live in that crack, he will. Treat in that crack. You know, crack and crevice is very important when dealing with cockroaches. Not just cockroaches, but ants. You need to treat in every single crack, every crevice as thoroughly as you possibly can. Try not to miss any cracks at all. You know, take all the dishes out of the cabinets, take all of the stuff out, but try to take the stuff out on the kitchen table and cover it up with a tablecloth or something so nothing's going to get on anything, and be very thorough in all your cabinets, all your kitchen cabinets. Flip up your coffee pot, you know, put some bait under the coffee pot. You know, there's places that you can put bait that you can't spray. You know, you just can't spray somebody's coffee pot, but you might be able to put some bait in a crack or something where the roaches are going to crawl up in there and they're going to find it. And now you've turned that coffee pot into a bait station for cockroaches, you know, and so it's very, very effective doing it that way and getting rid of cockroaches. But you really do need to be very thorough. And I'll tell you places that people miss, like under a kitchen table. You know, I talked about putting dishes and food and stuff on the kitchen table and covering it up. But under the kitchen table, I went to an apartment the other day, and they had a dining room table in the kitchen. They didn't really have any dishes or anything like that. It was an apartment building. The people kept their dishes in their room. But I flipped it was a shared, like a rooming house kind of. But I flipped the table upside down because it was it's a little round table with the one split divide in the middle for a leaf, and turned it upside down, treated all up around the legs and the cracks where everything joins together, chased out a whole bunch of cockroaches. So it's a real common thing to find them on a table. They will live on a table, and it's right there in the kitchen, near everything they want to get into. So that's a very, you know, good way to try to keep roaches off of the table, is to treat up in the cracks and stuff where the legs join. What kind of prep do customers need to do for a German cockroach liquid treatment? Like I said, take everything out of the cabinets. And this is mainly just initial treatments. You don't need to do this every time because you don't always need to get into the cabinet every single time you come. But, you know, sometimes it's just a matter of putting some bait around here and there. But once you do your first, like maybe your first couple trips to the house, you have your customer take everything out of the cabinets, put them on the table, and treat inside all the kitchen cabinets, especially under the sink, around water pipes and places like that. In fact, if you read your labels, a lot of times the labels will even say treat around the water pipes, you know, because German cockroaches are attracted to water. People think they're attracted to food, and one of the most common things I hear from my customers is, well, I told them not to eat that in their bedroom. And it's like, no, it's not the food, it's the water. They want water. There's somebody else calling. Hello, this is Jason with Green Acres Pest Control. How can I help you? Hello?
Hi, yes, I'm watching your show. Are you going live right now?
I am live right now. You are live.
Okay, all right. So I guess there's a little bit of delay with what I'm seeing in the video. I just have a question.
Yes.
So I have some kind of bug problem. I don't know exactly what it is. I cannot see it. I even bought like a little portable type of microscope to see if I could find anything, but I know it's in my carpet. I can feel them like kind of like crawling on my feet. I've tried using Alpine SG. I've tried and some other things too, and they just don't. It'll suppress it for a little while, but then it comes right back again.
You think it's fleas?
And I think. I'm sorry, say again?
I said, do you think it might be fleas?
I think so. Yeah, possibly.
Well,
Because
do you
what?
have pets?
I don't know.
Okay. Do you live in an apartment building or an area where you may have animals outside, maybe a pet-friendly apartment complex?
Yeah, actually, I actually live in a house that's divvied up into different apartments.
Okay.
The area that I live in, there's a lot of deer.
Yes.
So I was also kind of wondering if it's possible if it's something like Lone Star ticks or something like that, or
Well, you would, if you're
I just
getting bit by ticks, they're going to stay on you. They're not going to just bite and let go, because that's not what ticks do. They usually stay attached, because that's how you get the diseases they carry, is they stay attached to you. They have to stay attached for a certain amount of time before you could even get like Lyme's disease or Rocky Mountain spotted fever and the different things that ticks actually carry. They have to stay attached for a specific amount of time. So if you're just getting bit and they're leaving you alone, then typically that's fleas. It could be mites, but you'll usually see them. If a flea bites you, they're really tiny. They're really, really tiny. But sometimes people don't even see them when they get bit because they bite you and jump off so quickly you don't even see them. You'll just start scratching. You're like, oh, it felt like it just bit me, but when you scratch, it's nothing there because the flea bites you and then jumps off. So that's what it sounds more like to me. And the deer will infest the yard and the area with fleas. It's really common. I find that here all the time because I live in a very rural part of Virginia, and so people have deer walking right through the yard. I mean, I have deer that go through my yard. I couldn't grow tomatoes this year for anything because the deer ate them all. And so it's a really common thing. In fact, my backyard, I have to treat my backyard about once every 3 months or so just to keep the fleas out of it because I have so much wildlife going through my yard.
Okay.
And so that's what it sounds like. And if it is coming from outside, then it's one of those things where you're going to continue to have problems until the yard is taken care of. You've got to take care of the grounds and kill the fleas in the grass. And that sounds like more of a maintenance issue, not really something that would fall under something you would be required to do yourself. I mean, unless they say, yeah, well, go ahead and do it, then you can. But my flea video actually goes over that.
Well, my landlord had somebody come by last year and do an eco-friendly exterminator, I guess.
Uh-huh.
And she said she had them come into the property. I was kind of wondering if the fleas came from the houses has wooded shingles on the outside. She had the house power washed pretty hardcore last year. I wonder if she got basically shook stuff loose from the house. Because whoever did the power washing, they did a really bad job.
The fleas aren't going to do that, though. They're going to live in the yard. They're going to live down on the ground, and they won't come from the house. Now, bird mites and stuff like that, maybe, if there were birds roosting on the house. A lot of people don't like to get rid of bird nests. If the birds come and start nesting on the house, songbirds and stuff like that, or even starlings will go down in the gutters, and they fill the gutters full of sticks and trash and stuff, and also bird mites will come from them, and they'll get in the house and bite you too. But and if they go and they clean all that stuff off the house, and then the bird mites have no host, they'll start coming in the house looking for something to eat. And now they can't live off of your blood. Eventually, they'll all die off because they still need a blood meal from a bird to survive. But that doesn't mean they're not going to try to get the blood meal from you. They will still bite you. But typically, if you're getting bit by mites, you don't have you won't get a bug bite. You know how you'll swell up from a mosquito bite or a tick bite or a flea bite. But with bird mites, you just feel them biting you, and they itch really bad, but you don't typically show up with any kind of rash or anything like that. Not most people.
Yeah.
Most people don't. I mean, I don't know. You may be different, but...
Right. I'm pretty sure it's not bird mites. Sometimes what it feels like also is it almost feels like... Sometimes they just jump all over my body, it feels like. Sometimes I feel sometimes maybe I have a cobweb on my face, or they're on my eyebrows too, on my eye, just the weirdest places. And I just can't make sense of it.
And I mean, someone did type in chat, it could be just a poor blood circulation issue, because I get that. I used to have that real bad when I had diabetes. I had diabetes several years ago, and I've since changed my diet, and I don't have it anymore. But when I had diabetes, I had really poor circulation. I had itchy legs and itchy feet and itchy arms, and I would have that same feeling like cobwebs on my face. And it could be something like that too, but that's not really my category. That's not really what I deal with. I deal mostly with bugs. And the only thing that I could do, if I were to diagnose it as a bug problem, I would say it's probably fleas. That's what it sounds like to me. And the Alpine will kill them. But if it's, like I said, if it's coming from outside, you're just going to, it'll seem like it'll be great and it'll be fine for maybe a month, maybe even 3 months, 4 months. But then eventually the fleas will get back in the house and they'll be back in the house again. You'll have to treat again. And so it's one of those things where it's going to be more of a maintenance type issue where you're going to have to treat every so often just to keep them down, to get rid of them.
Right. Every time I think I have fleas and something happens, it gets under control, then I start to think it's bed bugs, but based on what I've seen in your videos, it can't be bed bugs because they're attacking whenever they get a chance, like all day, pretty much all day long.
Right, and bed bugs don't do that unless they're out of control. They're not going to do that.
And you'll see hit a point where
you see every stage, so you're going to know bed bugs. If you're getting bit to the point where you're getting bit all day long from bed bugs, you are absolutely seeing bed bugs. You're going to see them on the wall. You're going to see them in your curtains. You're going to see them everywhere. Because people do get bit every day. I have customers that were so severe where they couldn't even go in the house without getting bit by bed bugs because they're that bad.
Right.
And that does happen, but that's a rare thing. I've only done maybe 5 or 6 houses like that over 30 years.
Okay. Yeah, I have no idea how to get rid of this.
Well, like I said, if it is fleas and it does make a difference when you treat with Alpine, that's probably what it is. They're more than likely every time they will ride you like a subway train into your house, and then they will infest your house. Right. Fleas can live off of human blood, especially if they're cat fleas. Cat fleas don't need a cat. They don't need a dog. They just need a mammal. If they can live off of horses, right. They can live off of you. They can live off of pretty much any mammal that bleeds. They can live off of you. They can live off a snake. They could get snake blood and live off a snake. You know, the thing is that they just need to bite you for a blood meal. If they could just get a blood meal, that's all they need. And then they can lay eggs, and then you'll have fleas in your house.
Can they get into your shoes? Because I think I brought them to my job too.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Can I feel them in
They'll
my
get
shoes?
in your socks. They'll intertwine into your socks, and you'll put your socks in your shoes. You'll have fleas in your shoes. Yeah, I do it all the time. When I go in a house with fleas, the fleas get in my socks. They get down inside my boots. They're miserable. I hate them. I actually have a flea job I've got to do Sunday. I hate fleas. I hate them. If they disappeared from humanity, I would be so happy. I don't need flea work.
You and me both. But the thing is, like, even when I go to work, what I've been doing is, like, just to be proactive, is I've been spraying my clothes, particularly the inside of my shoes and my socks, like the night before. I've been spraying them with camping spray, permethrin spray.
Right.
Just to deter them, and
permethrin will
that
kill
doesn't
fleas.
even stop them.
Usually, permethrin will kill fleas. Permethrin is like cypermethrin and permethrin. Both are really good pesticides for fleas. And so, if that's not working on fleas, then it's not mites, it's not fleas, it's something else. And that's got me stumped now because typically with fleas, permethrin works really well. Permethrin will kill mites. It's actually what they use in topical ointments and stuff. They use permethrin salves and stuff like that for people to rub on to kill the mites and the stuff that live on their body. And right. So I don't know what it could be.
Yeah, and I even went to a dermatologist. I said, like, you got to take a look at this. Look what happened. And the dermatologist even said, this looks like insect bites.
You almost would have to find the insect and send it off and get it studied. You could send it off to Virginia Tech or even Tennessee. There's an Institute of Tennessee or Tennessee University or something like that where they do a lot of entomology, and you can send them off to those people for free, and they'll tell you what they are. If you can find the bug that's biting you. Oh, yeah. Virginia Tech, they love to do that. That's what they do that. They do studies on all kinds of stuff. They'll tell you what it is for free. You just send it to them. The entomology department.
Can you recommend some kind of tool that I can use to, like, detect them? Because, like, they're not visible to the naked eye. I can tell you that for a fact.
That I don't know. Actually, Cameron in the chat is saying that they had actually a customer with some substantial marks on on their body from bird mites. And so bird mites can cause you to break out. That's the first I've known. And they're an entomologist. And so it's a possibility. I don't know how to, I don't know where to start. I'm not, it's not my expertise. I just, like I said, I know how to kill bugs, but it sounds like you may have something completely different. I don't know that I've never dealt with before.
Okay. Yeah, because I've like watched a lot of your videos. I've tried everything. First I thought it was bed bugs. I had an exterminator come. He hit the baseboards just to see if they would come out during the day. Nothing happened, but and despite that, I bought some crossfire and I sprayed the perimeter of the apartment with crossfire, and no luck. So I figured maybe just by process of elimination, the issue is not bed bugs per se. It's got to be fleas or some other type of mite.
Yeah, and if it's
you know
fleas,
what I mean?
the only way to get rid of fleas is you have to treat the entire floor. You have to do a broadcast spray over the whole floor, and Alpine is the best thing I've ever used for fleas. It's really good. I've used lots of different pesticides for fleas, but Alpine works really good. That and maybe like an IGR, like Nigard or something like that added to the chemical is really effective for fleas. But it doesn't. That's what it sounds like to me. But the fact that you're using permethrin and it's not phasing them, that leads me to believe it may not be fleas.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm stumped. Really, you stumped me.
What insect is like immune to permethrin though? That it would go into my shoes, through my sock, and then bite my feet, and actually leave a lot of marks.
Bugs do become immune to different pesticides. Fleas have become immune to different pesticides, and it's possible. I haven't used permethrin for fleas in a very long time. I used to use it for fleas all the time. Back when demise and different things like that existed, those are the chemicals I used to mix together and kill for fleas. But I haven't, since Alpine, I've been using Alpine for 6 years. I haven't used anything but Alpine for 6 years. That's what I've found to be the most effective. And so I haven't used it in a while. It's possible that they've developed an immunity to it. I don't know how. But like I said, I've always used IGRs in addition to permethrin. So like Excidar or Nigard or something like that with the pesticide in order to stop them from reproducing. Because the thing with fleas is you want to stop their reproductive cycle, because if you can stop them from either laying eggs or from the eggs from hatching, then you will eventually kill all the fleas off. They will all eventually die. And so that's the way I've always done it. But now with things like Alpine WSG is very good label for fleas. It works really well. That's what I use now. And so that's what I recommend. But I only recommend what I use. Like the products that I use for the bugs that I kill is that's what I use. I mean, that's what I tell people.
Can they live in your bed, even with inside of your bed mattress, even if you have a protective cover?
No, usually fleas will just be on the sheets, and usually all you have to do is just wash the sheets, and it will kill them.
Okay. Because I even have a protective cover for my mattress, and sometimes I'll just sleep without a sheet, just the mattress and the cover itself, and it'll still get me. I'm just like.
Well, you know, Cameron, the guy that's the entomologist, he even says here, and he made a really good point. He said if you don't have a bug, or if you can't find a bug, or you don't know what you're dealing with, then no amount of pesticide is going to solve your problem, because we don't know what your problem is. And that's one thing that even with insects, if you have a certain type of an insect that you're trying to eliminate, if you're not using the pesticide that's designed to get rid of that specific insect, you won't be able to get rid of it. There are pesticides on the market that are designed for ants. There are pesticides on the market that are designed for bed bugs and fleas and ticks and all kinds of different bugs. And the reason that you can use like crossfire, a lot of people say, well, I can buy crossfire and kill ants with it. Well, no, not really, because crossfire is really designed for bed bugs, and you really need to use it just for bed bugs because that's what it's for. Alpine is more of a broad use, where it's for like roaches, it's for fleas, it's for ants and other bugs, and so you could use it. But it's not my go-to thing for bed bugs, because crossfire is a bed bug concentrate. It's designed to kill bed bugs with bed bugs in mind solely. And so that's the only thing that's on the label. That's what it's for. That's why I use it for bed bugs. And so there are some chemicals that are universal that you can use for lots of different bugs, and then other chemicals you want to use for a specific type, like a miticide. So like a miticide is designed for mites. You can use pesticides all day long. They will not kill the mite. because of the biology of the mite is not affected by the pesticide.
Okay.
And so you have to use a miticide.
Are you talking about a miticide such as Sterifab? Or
Well, Sterifab's basically rubbing alcohol, but Sterifab will kill mites, and it's a sterilizing agent that's good for mites. It will kill mites on contact, and you can use it. One of the reasons that I recommend Sterifab is because if you clean up like a bird nest, like let's say you have a bird mite issue, you take the bird nest, you get rid of the bird nesting material, and you clean up the area real good. You spray it with Sterifab. It will kill the mites in the area where the nest is, and it will also sterilize the area as well. The Sterifab is what they use like in a hospital. It's real common in hospital areas where they're worried that people might have brought in bed bugs, and they can use it on those mattresses, and it kills the bed bugs on the mattress on contact. It's a contact spray. It's not a residual spray. So like a pesticide is designed to last for several days or even weeks or months. But a Sterifab is really only designed to last until it evaporates, and then it's no longer going to kill anything. So it's not going to last.
So Sterifab essentially probably would last me like one night,
Right.
one night's worth of sleep, essentially.
Exactly.
Okay.
So
All right, I can try to see if is there any miticide in particular that you recommend that I could use?
I don't really use miticides. The only one that I have on my website that I recommend is what is it? It's Suspend SC. And not Suspend Polyzone, but Suspend SC actually has mites on the label. And so that's why I recommend it, and that's why I tell people to use it. But Suspend Polyzone might work, but it doesn't have mites on the label like Suspend SC does.
Gotcha.
So, but good luck.
All right.
You have a good night.
You too. Thank you so much
No
for the
problem.
information. I appreciate it.
No problem. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, so I'm going to have to cut the phones off for now because it's gotten to that point where I have to kind of wind things down and tell everybody good night. But I'll answer a few more questions out of chat before I log out. Let's see. I haven't sprayed them in a while. They're really coming out a bit. Let's see what all everybody said. Let me actually... Can I not turn off the phone number? There we go. Let's turn that off for now, so I don't want people getting mad that the number won't ring, because it won't ring now. But anyway, let's see what we got going on here. It says, but thank you for saying that, Cameron. I am reading chat. Even though I was on the phone, I was reading chat, and that was actually some really good recommendations there about, a lot of people do call me, and similar to his call, about bugs that they don't see, and they swear they have bugs, but they actually don't have bugs. It's more of like a psychosis, and I'm not saying that's what he had, but there is a certain type of a psychosis that goes with insects. People that have had bed bugs before, this is especially with bed bugs and fleas, where the people are positive they still have the bugs, they believe they still have the bugs, they'll even itch as if they have the bugs, but the bugs don't exist. And it's really because psychologically it has messed with them so bad and has affected them so bad that they believe that they still have these bugs in their home and on their bodies and biting them, even though they're not. And it'll make you itch. And it's basically it goes with the whole phrase, it's all in your head, because really it is. And it makes you feel like that you just can never get rid of the problem, and it makes people really upset, really depressed, and it's really just a matter of realizing that you don't have bugs. The bugs are dead. They're not really there. And so that you can kind of get over this problem that you develop. But bed bugs are one of the worst. I've noticed this really bad since bed bugs have developed into this serious issue that's causing a lot of people issues, where the bed bugs aren't there anymore, but the customer still thinks they're getting bit, because they're still itchy. They're still scratching and stuff all over. Just like when someone starts talking to me about head lice, I can't help but scratch my head because they're not there, but it's the psychosis. It's the thought that I know what an itchy head feels like. And so you start scratching your head. So, but yeah, medications. I used to know somebody that was on all kinds of like painkillers and stuff. They had horrible problems with like joint issues, and they were on like different types of painkillers, and it caused them to itch and scratch all over. The prickly skin feeling is there's a symptom of like opioids and stuff that can cause prickly skin, and so they'll scratch and they'll actually make like sores on themselves, and they don't have bugs. It's just because they're itchy. It's just their skin's always itchy, and they'll pick at themselves and cause little sores to show up. Yeah, I actually knew somebody that had that problem, where they would scratch themselves and they didn't even have any bugs or anything on them. So, but Caveman says it took a few months till I realized I was free of bed bugs. But it does affect you, and just one day you'll just not itch anymore because you're like, well, I just don't have them. I haven't seen them in so long. You kind of almost forget you have them, or had them. There's no shame in going a little mental from it. I had to start seeing a shrink and started meds because of bed bugs. I'd say it's a little more crazy to not be bothered by them. I agree with you there. But anyway, I'm going to call it a night. I've been on for an hour and a half. It's the longest live stream I've done in a long time. I know I wasn't able to get live last week, but it's in that way. I've got a little bitty baby. He's 6 weeks old. He's the really sweetest thing in the world. His name's Finley. And we've a lot of times I don't get a lot of sleep. And actually last week I fell asleep on the couch and overslept my live stream and didn't get up off the couch till like after midnight. And so I felt awful that I missed you guys, but I made sure I made it here tonight. I'm here tonight to answer questions. We answered lots of questions. I felt like it was a really great show. There's 30 people in here right now. Be sure to like the video if you haven't already. If you like stuff like this, if you enjoy the live stream, if you like to learn about bugs, leave me comments below if you're watching the VOD later. Because all of my live streams are always saved on my YouTube channel. You can always go back and watch them later, like a podcast or whatever. And hopefully I can help you. I really enjoy pest control. This is my life. This is what I do. It's what makes me happy. Honestly, my wife, my children, and pest control are like the top 3 things in my life I need to be happy. And as long as I have those things, I'm in a perfect world. So hopefully I can help you get rid of your bug problems. Hopefully I've helped anybody on TikTok, people there, you guys here in YouTube. And hopefully next week I'll be able to stream live with both YouTube and Twitch. I'm going to try to get that thing set up tonight so that I can do that next week. But anyway, y'all have a real great night. I really appreciate it. And I'm going to get on out of here and get some sleep and probably go pee again because I drink too much water. Anyway, good night.